Welcome to Late Night at the Movies, episode 4. All right, now that I'm officially creeped out, like the start of that film. right off the bat, I'll say that, man. One of the best intros. We said it again about Fight Club, which is another David Fincher film. We didn't even realize when we picked this one, guys. But again, great fucking intro, great track with the 9 Inch Nails at the start of that. The Trent Reznor, the scenery, like the scenes of them going through stuff, all the notebooks and stuff at the start of the film. Like you knew you're in for a fucked up movie when you saw that, right, Jay?
Oh yeah, this movie was just that song alone, that intro and that song alone, and they didn't even this movie you knew well. Morgan Freeman, Brad Pitt in a kind of fucking movie with 7 deadly sins. You're gonna know that it's gonna be a little creepy.
Yeah, JT's back at his old recording studio there, Rob. Evening to you as well. He's on the road.
Practicing in case it's quarantine again, man.
He's getting ready because this could be the show again soon. You never know.
Yeah, exactly. This might have to be the show from now on again. No, but yeah, it's all right, man. It is what it is, Rob.
So welcome everybody. I'm your host Nico, or John Doe tonight, as I put my name here as because of the film we're talking about today. This is Late Night at the Movies, episode 4. We're talking about the movie 7. We got JT over there recording off site once again.
That's it. That's it. How's everybody out there doing? Hopefully everybody in the chat there's enjoying it. If we got anybody yet, I'm not there, so I can't tell you in person. But
yeah, we got a couple people tuned in so far. So welcome everyone. Feel free to take part in the chat if you watch the film in preparation for this. Like I know some of you have. Feel free to kind of join along with some of your answers for some of the topics that we're going to be going through here today. There is quite a bit to get through as always, so let's get started. I'm gonna, I'll try to address some of the things that you guys threw up, but as we move along here, we gotta, in the sake of time, hey, Lewis, what's going on? In the sake of time, we'll get to things.
Ready for his appearance.
Yeah, that's right. Lewis is brushing up on all things late night chat. I'll quickly mention, if you are tuning into this show at all, though, and you're not aware, make sure to check out our battle this Friday at 8 p.m. That is the new episode of Battle of the Bangers, Biggie versus Tupac. Should be a great one. JT will be back on site for that one, helping out in the background here, so it'll be a good one. So, okay, so without further ado, let's get into it.
You can laugh at me once I'm back on site, right, Leaks?
I'm gonna laugh at you? How so?
No, everybody can with me in the chat.
Exactly.
Run the show. Don't worry. I've been practicing.
As always, I'm not sure what you're talking about, but let's move along. No, I'm just joking. All right, so Jay, you picked this one for us on this episode. So why don't you get started? Why don't you start us off with best scenes of the film? Why don't you get into that? Now, 7, this is a film that was it's 25 fucking years old, everybody, which made me feel fucking old when I saw that. I couldn't believe it. 1995. Early in the careers of people like Brad Pitt, early in the career of David Fincher as a director of film. Morgan Freeman, he had already had a lot of credits, but I mean, like, I think this is just when he was getting, like, this is still one of his most interesting roles I think he's ever been in. Great film. And I mean, let's get into it. Jay, if you want to start talking about your favorite scenes of the film, if you wanted to go through those.
Well, yeah, everybody knows our that we have up our in the chat, that not in the chat, but on the page that we set up and everything, that all the little scenes and stuff and the little things we pick out of, right? So I guess for favorite scenes, I mean, to be honest with you, if I can say this whole movie was one giant scene to me, I would, but I have to pick out so many different scenes. Um, I think obviously my best scene, my favorite scene, must uh, was one of my best scenes was one of the at the end where he's holding the gun to his head and then and he's got him there in the desert and he's uh, Morgan Freeman's going back uh, to go see who's delivering the box. So
Mhm.
when he comes back and Morgan Freeman realizes that listen, put your gun down, Mills, and this is already after John Doe has explained what happened.
Right.
Oh,
Actually, sorry, I actually just jumped ahead. I forgot actually our own way to start out these shows. Usually, we do also let the audience know our history with this film, if any. I don't know about you, but I watched this as a teenager. I didn't watch it when it came out initially, so there's not really much for me to say there. I've probably watched the movie a handful of times, and I've liked the director's work since then of some other films that he's done. But
yeah.
yeah, I was pretty late to the party. I probably didn't watch this till like the 2000s, saw it since probably when I was a teenager at that time. Jay, did you end up watching this when you were younger, or you have any
Well, I
history?
watched it when I was younger. I watched it when I was younger. This is probably my third time watching it. Still, when you watch it again for the first time, when you watch it again, it's almost like watching it for the first time, which is always interesting, right? Especially when there's so much shit going on in the movie and you
Yeah.
don't know, you know, especially with me, something like focus is a pain in the ass. So to really sit down and focus, I was able to kind of pick little things apart this time. I kind of
Mhm.
did these last two things on a rush because it's been quite a week for me. But now that we're doing all these friggin' podcasts this week, but yeah, so it was really interesting this one having this little time to sit back and watch it again. You know,
Mhm.
I was probably 95, so I was probably uh, well, I was in high school still. That was crazy if you think
Mhm.
about it, right? So I probably watched it, just near the end of high school, probably after that or something. And yeah, it's been to me, it's probably one of my favorite. I guess if you're going to use him as a director, David Fincher, what is his name, Fincher?
Yeah, David Fincher.
That yeah, if I'm going to use him as a director, I'm going to say it's probably one of the best films from him. I think I like it
Mhm.
better personally than Fight Club. So, I mean, this is
Mhm.
just my personal
How,
opinion
how
right
about the
now.
social? How about the Social Network? Did you watch that one? That's also David Fincher. A lot of people would argue that that's probably his best film.
No, maybe I did, but you know what? It sounds so familiar.
Yeah.
I'd have to see what it is, but Social Network does sound familiar. I mean, like I said, we watch. I mean, I know I watch a lot of stuff. Sometimes it's hard to keep track of what I watch. I might look at the title once and then enjoy the
Mhm.
movie, but then forget the title. It's like forgetting somebody's name. You always remember a face, but remembering a name is one of those
Right.
things.
So
Yeah.
getting back to our favorite scenes, though, you mentioned the ending, of course. For anybody that hasn't watched this film, if you're tuned in, there is going to be some spoilers here. So obviously, yeah, you're right. That is probably the best scene, arguably the best scene, if not the best scene, is the ending where it's revealed that the box comes and Brad Pitt, the officer, what's his name, Mills, his wife's head is in the box. So like obviously that is the most memorable scene of this film, and the ending and the shock of it all and the surprise of that. Like the first time I watched this film, like this is definitely one of those surprise endings of a film. This is like in the all-time greats, I think, because
Oh
it
yeah.
it was so amped up to that point. And even to this day, like rewatching it, like you said, it still kind of hits a chord. Like it's so fucked
Feels it
up.
feels like it feels like he's actually go. He's such a great actor. It feels like he's actually going like he's going through that at that moment. The way he pulls it off, like I
Mhm.
don't know, he's so dramatic, and the way both of them, him and Kevin Spacey, the way they played that scene so well in the end. I mean, there's a lot leading up to that, but we'll get into that in other stuff because there's
Yeah.
more because we go through performances and stuff like that. But if I want to say if I'm gonna if I'm gonna go out with all out scene, the last 3 minutes, just before, leading up to when they have to bring him away in the car, right?
Mhm.
I think that notably was
Yep.
my favorite scene. I have a lot of little favorite scenes in between.
Yeah.
Like there's a few. Well, I mean, I can name a few. You name yours, and maybe I can give you a couple after, and let you name, let you see what you think. But I'd like to hear what yours would be. I mean, unless it's you're the same one as mine. You and me are the same.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty undeniable. I'll say the only other one I think that's close to the ending scene for me for best scene is the combination of the actual and we're actually just take a quick peek at the at that scene.
And we stay on screen, so hopefully we don't get taken off like last time.
I envy a normal life. Put the gun down, David. It seems that envy is my sin.
What's in the box? What's in the box?
I just like, look at that.
Yeah. So that's all I'll tease you guys with. If you haven't seen it, definitely you don't want to know more of that of that scene. But I would say the only other scene that you can really compare that to would be a combination of the first time that they almost catch him, like when they're at his apartment and they chase him down, and Brad Pitt ends up getting really fucked up, which leads to him having to switch his plan around and him coming into the precinct with his fingertips all cut up and actually, revealing that it's him. Yes, Dr. Mills, or not Dr. Mills, Detective Mills. Yeah, and I'm gonna show that scene too, a quick snippet of that. Yeah, that's classic. So yeah, go on. I think between that and the ending is pretty close for me, but the ending, I mean, is undeniably. You can't. I tried. I'm like, there's some other great fucking scenes, and the other one I was gonna mention is the sloth scene. Out of all the sins, that's the grossest one. That fucking sloth scene. Oh,
yeah. Like I think when the doctor's explaining it,
just the fact that
what he's been through and what he's willing to go through. I you know what, bro? If 100 was it? He went 365 days without eating.
So
at least.
Yeah, well, he was slowly giving him stuff to keep him alive, just like he was force feeding the first guy, right? The greed, or was it? No, it wasn't greed.
Gluttony, right?
Gluttony. Sorry, yeah, thank you.
Gluttony.
Yeah. So here, hold on. This is I'm just gonna cue this up quick here. This quick scene here.
But yeah, no, they this whole movie. I mean, I've written down probably a page of different scenes that I like, and I was trying to pick through, and then really I narrowed it right down to that last one. But yeah, you got some good quotes coming up in this one too.
Get up, you sack of shit.
Oh, fuck me. Dex! You wanna come take a look at this? Dex!
Imagine that, bro.
Yeah, it's gross.
Just imagine. What would you what would you do if you wanted fresheners, everything, dude? That he went all out, man.
It's the shocking part of him like fucking jumping up though, and like actually he's still alive. Like I'd be like, just fucking kill me, bro. Like look at me.
But as a serial killer, to be able to do this, I don't know, man. I've never heard of it, and I've listened to a lot of podcasts, and you know that. But I mean,
yeah,
I've never seen something where they pull something off like this or heard of anything.
God damn.
I mean, I could be wrong.
And he shows him deteriorating in the pictures. Like the pictures tell the story of like the passage.
What he looked like, yeah.
Yeah. Like look at him. Look at him right there. How normal he was.
Yeah.
It's like, are you fucking kidding me? This is the guy?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. See? You imagine, bro, looking like that, and then all of a sudden.
No, I'd just be like, kill me.
You get what you deserve, you piece of shit.
And then he's like, ah.
Man, buddy. Imagine that, eh?
Yeah, it's a gross fucking part. It's the grossest part of the film. Honestly, like each deadly
That's
sin.
the grossest part?
I think so. The gluttony part's gross too, I guess. Why? What do you think's the grossest part?
Well, I think where he ends up fucking that girl with he forces that guy to
Yeah,
fuck
but
that girl with the.
you don't really see it
You don't
though.
actually see it, no, but you hear
No.
about this. You hear, you see the thing. I know, but between, if you're thinking of the way they're killing people, yeah, I'm pretty sure that's probably got to be the fucking worst. The other ones are more torturous, but
Yeah.
that one's torture, but quick. And
Because
it's
even
just
the
like,
one,
you know
the
what?
gluttony one is disgusting. Like he actually burst himself, like purposely, like you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's like he force fed him until he fucking exploded. So yeah, so like all the scenes of them actually approaching each deadly sin of the killer as they go on, like the five of them that we see until the ending, because obviously that plays into the last two as well between Brad Pitt and the killer John Doe, Kevin Spacey. Right? You don't really know how that's going to go until the end, and you find out that there's two, there's two deadly sins that those people represent as well, right? But yeah, I think all those scenes are great where they reveal each like kind of crime as it goes, right? But yeah, the ending. I mean, I had the same thing written down here. Like I said, I had the sloth one, and I have one more. I'll bring up just a quick clip of before we move on. But yeah, do you have any others that you wanted to mention? Maybe I missed. Also, the opening scene I liked a lot when the police chief, like he's introduced, like he tells them that they're working together, and then he looks at Brad Pitt and he looks at the chief and he's like, it's too soon. He's like, you're gonna put him on this case? He's like, no, it's too soon. And that's actually in my favorite quotes as well, that one. And he looks at Brad Pitt, he's like, listen, man, I'm right here. And he's like, it's too soon. Like you and he warns him. He's like, this is not, he's like, you should not be on this fucking case. Like, you're a rookie here. He's like, well, you think I don't have years experience and all this shit like that? And he's like such a hothead, right? And then I'm just like, and then seeing this movie again, you could see the signs that he should have fucking walked away, right? That's what hurts even more, because you're like, you see the little things that they really drove home because they knew where the movie was gonna go, but you have to kind of watch it more than once to kind of see those moments like really make sense to you, right? Like it's not like anything complex, but it just adds so much to I think the story when you see all the chances that he had to kind of walk away and maybe listen and, not get involved in this, right? But instead he insisted, he wanted to prove his worth, right? But yeah, that was fucked up what happened.
It doesn't always pay, but it is. That was a good scene too. I mean, there's like I said, there's quite a few, man. I don't know whether I should leave them in some of them, because I have a few even for performances too, right, as well.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm gonna play this clip very quickly here for you before we move on. Just one moment.
Yeah, no worries. And like I said, I mean, the bondage place, man, where they, that one there too is a good scene when they're explaining together. This one, look at that. What a creep, bro.
Get away from him! On the fucking floor!
I know you.
Get out! Get down! On your stomach!
Get you.
Down! All the way! All the way, fucker! Down! Faster! Faster! Faster!
He's so real, bro. It sounds so real, like it's coming out of his mouth, like he's really a cop and he's really doing that. That's some top-notch acting. I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's hard when we get to those ones. you're gonna be shocked probably by who I picked for my best performance. So we'll see. I mean,
maybe not. Knowing you, I'll have to see. But yeah. Any other notable scenes, favorite scenes that you wanted to kind of mention? I mentioned mine, like the crime scenes ones, the sloth one specifically. Kevin Spacey right there revealing himself and the chase and the whole ending. That's pretty much, other than that, it's those are the big ones for me.
There's a few good ones with Morgan Freeman, like when he's having breakfast with his wife, with Brad Pitt's wife there, Mills, and actually you know, he's explaining because she's asking
Gwyneth
why.
Paltrow.
He's asking why he never had kids and this and that, and they went through this whole spiel together, right? That was a good. I thought that was a good scene too because it took you out of that extreme. You know what I mean? Like the whole movie was extreme, and it brought you back to a little bit of
Normalcy.
Normalcy, right? I think that was a big thing, a big part of I think maybe Gwyneth Paltrow's role.
Okay.
Kind of normal it down. So
yeah, and she's, you know, he's obviously they moved there for him. He's really keen on becoming part of this police force, but she doesn't like it there. And there's that whole narrative going on. Yeah, so it is definitely important. You're right. It's smaller scenes like that in this film that actually strengthen the story, because that's why it's such a much bigger impact towards the end of the film, finding out that her head was in the box because she was pregnant, and she was confiding in Somerset, his partner there, Morgan Freeman's character, with what was going on, because she couldn't talk to her husband at that time, right? Like about, he was too his head was in the case too much, you know what I mean? Like he was too obsessed with what was going on, right? Because it was a little too much for him, right? As much as he tried to say it wasn't, but there was that one scene where he turns around to him and he says that he's just like, have you ever seen something like this before? And he's like, no. like when they start he's like,
in the beginning too, he also says, haven't you seen my record? He goes, I've done a lot of things already, you know. And then when he comes back and retracts it there,
Morgan Freeman's kind of a dismissive dick. Morgan Freeman's very dismissive at the start. He's like, he doesn't even give a shit. He's like, listen, bud, this is the classic I have a week left until I retire cop story. You know what I mean? He's like, listen, I got a week. I'm just going to see this fucking case through. And he's like, you can't give me this fucking last case in my last week. He's like, come on. Because he knew he was going to become obsessed with it. He's like, no, this is going to happen again. He called it, right? He's like, this is going to happen again. He's like, this can't be my last case. He says to the chief, right? He's like, no. He's like, sorry, you got fat boy.
You got fat boy.
After they find that gluttony guy, he's like, yeah, they keep referring him to him as a fat boy around the precinct.
Yeah. Man, it was crazy there. So what's our next one now?
Okay, I'll start us off with best quotes, which
there you go.
Clearly you know what it is. I mean, again, it's undeniably what's in the box is the best fucking quote of this film. It's the most memorable quote of this film. Again, because of that ending, because of the delivery, whether or not you liked how Brad Pitt ranted at the end there. Some people will argue on this fact, and I might even myself, because you just mentioned that you enjoyed Brad Pitt's rant at the end of that film. Some people would say otherwise. You know, it was a little over the top, I think, but but it would be in real life too.
Sorry, go on.
But yeah, I mean, that's my favorite scene. I mean, not favorite scene, favorite quote out of the film is what's in the box. It is, you know, I know it sounds cliche and like easy to kind of point out, you know, because it is this film and everyone knows that fucking line. Everyone knows this movie from that line, but it's the line, right? It's the quote. And it is definitely, there's some good ones that stick out to me. I have other stuff written down here. But for sure, the what's in the box is definitely one of my favorite one of this film. Like I mentioned, go on.
I think that is a great one. You do probably have a shitload written down. There was, I think this movie was all about quotes, little one-liners, right?
And monologues too, right? Like especially when Kevin Spacey gets picked up, because he's only in the film for like 15 minutes, right? Like he's not in the film very much at all, right?
No. So he's in the film, but he's not in the film. You know what I mean?
His name is not even in the credits.
Yeah, it is. It's the first one.
No, it's not.
When I was watching it, unless they took it out, I had it on Netflix.
So maybe they added it in now, because originally, no, in the credits of the actual film, like when the music's going, not where the film is listed, because in the original film, I even read up on this, maybe when they first screened in theaters, they may have added it now to you know, when it's on TV and DVDs and Blu-rays and shit like that. But originally his name wasn't even in the opening credits. In the end credits, yes. In the opening credits, no, because they wanted to keep it a secret. That's actually something that was interesting that I read up on this movie, because in the same year, Kevin Spacey was in Usual Suspects. And in The Usual Suspects, they also kept this that he was what's his name, Kaiser Sose, a secret in that film, right? No one knew that it was supposed to be him, and that was the whole point of going to watch that movie. And that was back in the day where there wasn't spoilers everywhere you turned on the internet, right? So,
yeah, exactly. There's no cellular phones where you can just check everything out,
right?
And yeah, IMDb's and stuff like that. IMDb, sorry. Too much of this movie, I'm saying BD all the time, bro. But yeah, no, he's got quite a bit. I didn't know. I know at the end of the film it shows starring Kevin Spacey. So you're right. It might not be. Yeah, it's just in the end credits. Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was thinking too. It was just in the end credit because I know I did specifically see it. The first one that popped up was him, and then the rest of the cast, right? Sort of thing.
Apparently the word, what, again, this is on the internet, it may be true, it may not be. Apparently it was his idea to keep his name out of the opening credits because he felt it was such an integral part of the film and important, because like they kept teasing like who he was throughout the film. And again, that same year he was coming out with The Usual Suspects. So you know what I mean? So they kind of were trying to keep that thing going. So the fact that he's so well known in this film and he's not even in the film that much, that in itself is pretty interesting. You know what I mean? Because again, they don't really do things like that anymore these days, right? Like that's I think that's really a testament to how well the film has aged, even till today, right?
I think a lot of it has to do too with, you know, it's a serial killer movie. You don't really know who a serial killer is when you're trying to figure it out, right? So it's always interesting to try to figure out who the guy's going to be. I mean, obviously, if you know the voice when he talks on the phone or whatever, you can pick it out, right? But other than that, you don't really know. I mean, even on probably one of my favorite quotes was in that part where he sees him in the stairwell.
Yeah,
and he says, "Yeah, it's Detective Mills, M-I-L-L. What does he say? M-I-M-L-S. Fuck off."
Right? So as he slaps the camera out of his hand, right? Because he gets right up in their face as a reporter.
I could be here.
Yeah. He has a voice that's like not like his, like it's very squeaky. Yeah,
it's really awkward, right? It's like a very awkward style voice, which I thought was, you know, okay in the beginning because it's kind of keeping it secret, right?
Another big reveal, because when they break into his apartment and search it, that's when he sees the photograph in the tub of him that he took that day before he slapped the fucking camera out of his hand, right? It was that he's like, fuck, we had him. You know what I mean? He's like, we had him. Like, we fucking had him, and you let him get away twice. They had him there. They didn't realize it. And then he fucking, we'll get into it later. I think that's kind of unbelievable that how he got away from him on foot, Brad. But anyways, we'll get into that. But he got away from him in that scene, right? When he ran away, like, and it was like a crazy fucking chase through apartments on roofs and shit. Like, you know, he's hanging off fucking ladders the building. Yeah. So
he says photo that when he's the photographer that he goes, "I got your photograph. I got your picture, man. I got your picture." He goes, "Well, yeah, it's Detective Mills, M-I-L-L-S. Fuck off." But he does it so calm and then goes right back to Morgan Freeman. How do they get all this information?
Yeah. He turns around to him. He's like, "How do those guys get here, man?" He's like, "They pay and they pay well," or whatever.
You see, we say a lot of what's it called? Brad Pitt lines, right? Because I mean, I like the other one too when he asks Kevin Spacey, if psychopaths, you know, if they know if he knows he's insane, or does he just sit around? What did he say? He sit around in his grandmother's, or does he sit around masturbating his own feces?
Yeah.
Right. There's also a great one in the beginning. I don't know if you caught it right it was like in the first scene there when there's that cop that comes up to them and they were asking him if he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
So he's got that one line quote there that says, well, if he's, what did he say? He said, "If this guy wasn't lying in his own shit and piss, if he's not dead, he would have got up by now."
Yeah.
Right. So
I mean,
there's a lot, man.
Some of the other ones I had here that stuck out to me. is when Morgan Freeman, he sits down in his office there and he's talking about how fucked up the city is. And he's like, I don't understand this place no more. Like, how about like everything that's going on? I just felt it rang true to, again, what's happening in the world right now. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was just one of those things where like the city, there's so much crime and fucked up things that he has to deal with as a cop there. And the fact that he was just sitting there, like saying like, I don't even recognize it anymore. Essentially. He's like, I don't know this place no more. Like, what is this? Like, it felt like this was the final, you know what I mean? Like him being a part of this case, his final week on the force. You know, it's a shitty way to go out. Right. Like, you know, we all know that Brad Pitt was fucked by the end of this film because of his decision. His career as a cop was over. Right. But who's to say what happened to him? Right. I don't know. I think after that
was just those weird things. Well, he could have retired.
Another great one I have here is when he finds out, there's a scene where they find out that their Brad Pitt's apartment that they're renting, there's a fucking train that goes through there and rumbles the whole apartment. And he looks at him. He's like, soothing, relaxing, vibrating home. And then they all just start fucking dying laughing. That was a great scene too. Sorry, quote and scene, actually, for that matter. I didn't put it in my scenes. That quote always stuck out to me. I like that one a lot. And
that's the Morgan Freeman one, right?
Yeah. And I didn't jot it all down because it's a long one, but there's the whole fucking monologue of Kevin Spacey in the car on the way to the box at the end, how he sees the world and how he's like basically talking shit about all the people that he like looks down upon, right? Like how they're disgusting fucking human beings. And how like and then he starts talking to himself saying like, I really can't wait for you to see the surprise. He's like, I can't wait. It's going to be special and all this kind of shit. And like, and you know, Brad Pitt's just running his fucking mouth, right? He's just like, fuck you nutbag. Like, you know what I mean? Just like fuck off, right? And he's like, yeah, okay, yeah, keep running your mouth, right? Like he's in the back seat just fucking grinning ear to ear, and he's just like, yeah, okay, we'll see.
We'll see. That's the one where
I really am quite envious of you in your life.
Right? But that's where he asks them if they're insane, and if people are that insane.
Yeah.
You know, they just sit there and start masturbating in their own feces, right? I mean, these lines are killing me. Even Morgan Freeman, he does one that says, he says to Brad Pitt on that ride there, right? He goes, if John Doe's head splits open in a UFO should fly out. He goes, what did he say? I want you to expect it, to be expected, right? Because they didn't know what the fuck was going to happen going out there into the fucking middle of the desert, right?
It was funny too, that police chief, he sits down at their boss, he sits down at that desk when he's talking with Morgan Freeman and they're first getting into the case, the details of like what's going on. And the phone rings at the desk and he picks up the phone. He's like, this is not even my desk. And he fucking slams the phone down. Just like,
yeah. Oh man.
It was funny. So yeah, if anybody in the chat here, if you guys had some favorite quotes or scenes from the film before we move on from these like bigger categories that kind of usually take up majority of the time of the show here, please feel free to throw them out there before we move on. But let us know what your favorite scenes or quotes were from the film, if you have them, if you remember them.
If I accidentally shave off my nipple, would workers' comp cover it?
That's right. He does say that in the showers. Yeah.
They're waiting for the they're getting their thing, they're shaving
and the sign. Because he threatened to say he was insane, right? And they're waiting for him to sign the paper so they can go out looking for the last two bodies or whatever that he says, right?
Mm-hmm. I love the way that played out. But yeah,
you know what?
Yeah. Go on.
No, I was just gonna say, like, and I think we'll get into it because I made note of it as we go on and maybe one of the other categories, but like, he really shouldn't have fucking killed him. Like, he played right into what he wanted, and I know that would have been different. We'll get into it. I definitely remember now what category I had this written down in, but like, you know what I mean? Like, if he didn't give him that, his perfectly laid out fucking plan would have gone to shit. But it's just like he saw 10 steps ahead. You know what I mean? Like, he's just genius like that. Like, you know what I mean? I know that the sociopaths, like the killers like this, like they usually are like that. They said that. They're like, he has a fucking unlimited source of income somehow. He's like, and you don't know anything about him. And he's fucking smart. Like, how deadly is that?
He's been off the grid for how many years?
Right. We don't know who he is. He's got unlimited fucking amount of funds, and he's
Yeah.
fucking super intelligent. And
Brad Pitt is like when it comes to certain movies, he's the number one, man. I think when it comes to quotes. I mean, Morgan Freeman has his little things, but Morgan Freeman is more like that. You know, that it almost felt like I can close my eyes and just listen to him talk, you know, and
Mhm.
explain the movie that way, right? Because he was narrating at the same time, right?
Mhm.
So this is like a weird thing for him. No, not a weird thing, but this is like what he does now with all those MasterCard commercials and fucking Save the Planet and you know those kind of
Right, right.
commercial things. Not Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, right? When he does all the talking now because he's just so freaking old. You know, I didn't realize, but he only started acting in his 40s or something like that, eh?
Yeah. Yeah, he was late
He
to
was
the game like some people, right? If you recall too that the police chief there in this their boss it was he's the from Full Metal Jacket, that guy, if you remember, if you've seen that film, that dude.
Oh, that's in one of my things there. What's going on, Joe? Huh?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
Somerset.
Yeah, that is a
Dog.
great one. I didn't
Yeah,
do
you know,
that.
he goes,
Yeah.
I didn't do that. Just that one little thing. I didn't do that. What's going
Yeah.
on, Joe?
What's going on, Joe?
Oh.
Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, that is a great one. That is a great one.
That was
Again,
it was
like you
very,
said, there is definitely a lot more that go past the what's in the box. I just think in what's in the box, because a lot of people identify this film by that line in itself, is kind of undeniably with that ending for us, you know, our favorite scene and favorite quote of the film, right? Overall, but
yeah.
not just that moment, right? But I mean, there's still a lot of great stuff, like you said, throughout this.
You know, when he says, "Look at that," it's just like me when I said IMBD. It's just like when Mills says human bondage, and then Somerset goes, "It's not what you think," right? You know what I mean? Because he's thinking like sex bondage and this and that, but not that type of bondage, right? I thought that was fucking funny too, man.
Yeah, no, for sure. Okay, so let's move on to the next category here. JT, why don't you hit us up with your favorite performance of the film? Let's get into it.
There we go. Okay. So there's kind of two kind of favorite performances I had. I didn't know which one to pick from. The whole movie was great performance. I mean, like I said, every actor I think did a good job in acting. But the one that stood out to me was that whole scene of Brad Pitt when he was chasing him. That was a big scene for me. That one there, it was when they were getting shot at, and then he went and chased it, and he gets hit in the head and comes back, and next thing he does, he sits there with Morgan Freeman, and they can't go in, don't go in, don't go in, and he just kicks the fucking door open, and they go in, they see all this shit. That whole scene there was probably a great scene because it really broke down, I think, to me what the mindset of the killer now was, and everything. But I didn't know exactly where it was gonna go after that. Once they got the phone call, like I knew something was up. You know, when he said he had to change his plan, but I wasn't sure, right? So, I mean, obviously, I wanted to say that whole car ride at the end with Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Because I think that whole scene there made the movie. But, I mean...
For performance, you're saying Brad Pitt?
Yeah, sorry,
we're talking
performance.
About performance. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying Brad Pitt. In that scene there, when he's getting chased, he's acting like that cop, you know, and Morgan Freeman stays back, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my scene. That
so your favorite performer in the film overall was Brad Pitt. You're saying though, mainly because of that scene.
No. I haven't even gave you my.
This is the category though that we're talking about now.
Yeah. Sorry, man. You said, when you said performance, but based on that scene, yeah, I think that one there. I mean, he's had a couple other ones, but I think that one there stood out to me to show what kind of guy, what kind of actor he was, because he did it kind of all in that scene there, in that whole chunk. There's a little bit of a chunk there that they do,
yeah,
like where they first start knocking on the door. He sees him at the corner. Everywhere where they lead back up to him at the office, back at the office, you know, before he turns himself in.
Yeah.
right? That kind of for me that makes it for me for Brad Pitt. I mean, I was gonna say the ride at the end, right? But
for Kevin Spacey, because we're not talking about a scene in particular for performance. We're talking
no, I
about
know,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I'm using that scene in reference as
right,
like
right, right,
that
right.
in reference.
Okay, I
I
gotcha.
get
Yeah,
what you're saying.
yeah.
Like I could have said Kevin Spacey his
For
performance,
that
right?
last part, yeah, he was in the film too little though, but he shined so much in what he was in. He almost
Yeah.
outdid the performances of the two main character. You know what I mean? Like, but he had like such a great part, right? So
Yeah.
it's tough to yeah.
I mean, I had a hard time picking between to be honest, between the three of them, Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. I had a hard time picking between the three of them, right? Because they were each great in their own way.
Absolutely.
But I think as a cop, playing a cop, using that role, I think the performer I chose for that movie was Brad Pitt.
Okay.
You know, I seem to keep going that way with a Brad Pitt sort of performer, but you know what? I mean, I can't deny it. Like I feel like I'm one of those some teenage girl fucking. Oh my god, it's Brad Pitt.
No,
You know,
I mean, it's a great role of his, right? I mean, it's definitely up there. It's one of his earliest, best roles as well. I think he wasn't really in much prior to this, like any, like, you know, like roles.
He just did Fight Club, I think, and that was really
No,
about
Fight
it.
Club
I mean,
was,
those were
Fight
around
Club
the
was,
same.
Fight Club was 4 years later.
Yeah, but I mean, before, in between, there was nothing really noticeable in between that I can remember. And I have to look it up, but that I can remember, in between those. I mean, he might have had some other little ones.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm not sure when it comes to big performances like this where he was a main character. Right?
Yeah,
like
I'm just bringing up his IMDb right now. I also checked it out before. Before this, he was in a lot of TV in the late 80s. Yeah. And then, you know, in terms of movies, like I know he was in a couple of movies. He was in a few movies before this, but nothing like, oh yeah, he was in Cool World. I don't even remember that. I remember that movie, California. That was a weird fucking movie. He had that one scene in True Romance where he was the stoner on the couch. Interview with the Vampire, which I guess was good for him. Legends of the Fall, and then so Seven and Interview with the Vampire and Legends of the Fall were the year before this. So I think that's when he started getting roles that he was getting noticed for.
Oh yeah, he had 12 Monkeys too. Don't forget about that little part in 12 Monkeys.
Yeah, that was afterwards. Yeah, sorry, Angie. I hate to say it. I'm not a big Gwyneth Paltrow fan, and I think she served her purpose in this film. Because she was kind of like the sweet, like, you know what I mean, like innocent, like, you know, wife that she was in this, and you know, a small town girl, like, you know, was kind of afraid of the big, like she played it well, but she didn't do a bad job. I'm not a huge fan of her overall, like her things that she's been in. She's fine. I don't think she's not good, but yeah, she did a fine job in this. I would say that. But I'm with Jay. It was a battle between Brad Pitt, Morgan Freeman, and Kevin Spacey. But unfortunately, between the two, I would put Kevin Spacey and Morgan Freeman above Brad Pitt. And I would say I'm going with Morgan Freeman for my best performance of the film. He's excellent in this film. I think he doesn't play it over the top. You know, he doesn't need to. Like, he's the wise older detective who has a lot of years on the force. You know what I mean? Like, he's very calculative. Yeah, he puts the time in. Like, he played it like it's a great role for Morgan Freeman. And I don't even think, like, as Morgan Freeman's career went on, he didn't take as kind of risky roles as this, in the sense, like, it's such a fucking dark film. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Like, I can't say, like, he's been in a lot of big blockbuster films and a lot of kind of really good roles. As his career goes on, like, this is nothing. He's got so many other good movies that are after this. But I think this is just, I think, one of the more interesting kind of different things that he did earlier in his career. And, you know, he was already older at this point. So I think, like, it was a good pairing, these two. Like, it was a really good fucking pairing. And on paper, or even now, I wouldn't think to pair these two together, right? But it worked really well.
You don't think so? You don't think thinking of putting these together?
Brad Pitt and Morgan Freeman. I think it's a good pairing. I just wouldn't have thought of them in this role. No. Now, no. I know they're older now and they've done a lot of different things since then, but at the time, I'm still even surprised at this point in their careers how they thought to pair these two up for this. I think it's just it's
It works out, the old and the young, and the new cop, bad cop, old
no,
cop.
but other than that, those two, the type of characters they normally play, both of them playing like detectives in a fucking hard, like, you know what I mean, this like darker serial killer type film. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I don't see it. Maybe at this point in time, because, you know, like Brad Pitt was in a lot of cool roles, right? I think it's interesting. It was great casting. I think, you know, it's great that they did it. I just, yeah.
The casting can make you, I think those two there can make you believe whatever they want, man, as actors. That's how good I think they are. I think they can. I don't even know what that is.
I have to. So this is the guy who had to fuck him with the knife strap on. And I'm going to get back to this comment in a moment when we get to the category where I was going to mention this guy. I might disagree with this comment, Joe. I'm sorry to say. It's your opinion, though, and that's why we appreciate everybody getting in on the conversation. So, again, guys, throw out your favorite performance of the film, though, as we move on here. If you guys want to throw out, he's a sick bastard. Yeah, you guys want to throw out some of the other performances?
Well, I know who he is.
Yeah,
I know who Mr. Joseph is.
Also, a quick reminder to everybody that's tuned in here today, because I've seen quite a few people coming in and out. Please hit subscribe on our channel, guys, and hit that thumbs up like button before you finish watching the video today. We really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to our channel, hit the subscribe button. We're currently on the road to 100 subscribers. We have 84 at the moment. We want to reach 100 before episode 100 in the new year. So please help us out with that. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button. It takes 1 second out of your day. Hit that like, thumbs up button. Be doing us a big favor, guys. Thank you. And let your people know. Spread the word. Spread the word of Late Night Chat, please. We appreciate it.
Late Night Chat, love. See?
But yeah, once again, let us know in the comments, guys, if you had what your favorite performances were as we move on to the next category here. So you gave that one. Best cameo of the film.
Cameo.
Yeah, favorite cameo of the film. My favorite cameo of the film, a guy that was in the movie, I think for an appropriate amount of time to call it a cameo still, I got to say was, what's this guy? Lee Ermey. R. Lee Ermey, the police chief. Yeah. Like I mentioned, he's been in a lot of other films I've enjoyed. He's in the Full Metal Jacket. I'm just looking at some of his credits here. He was, I know he was the original. He was in the original Spider-Man. He was J. Jonah Jameson originally, I believe, in the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man films, if I'm not mistaken. I remember him in those. And he was in Texas Chainsaw, the new one, as the sheriff. He was pretty fucked up in that film. I remember that. I'm just looking at some of his credits there. I mostly know him from Full Metal Jacket, but he's been in a lot of. He's popped up.
I forgot. I knew him from Texas. That's where it was, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah, that one they made in it was the reboot, the first reboot that they made. He was fucked up in that film too. He just plays a crazy fucking like redneck and things.
I think he was in something with Billy Bob Thornton too, if I'm not mistaken.
Probably.
Recently, I think he was in one of those seasons of was it? No, I'd have to check, but I thought it was what was that one I was watching? Man?
Oh yeah, he's Saving Silverman. I remember that. He's the coach. He's
weird. Yeah, that weird hillbilly.
Yeah,
that accent.
Yeah, he's been in a lot. Oh yeah, he's in Apocalypse Now. He's been in a lot of stuff.
See, there's I don't have them all up here. I have
you having some issues with your internet? I don't know. I mean, I think we're all good on my end. I don't know if it's JT's been coming through not bad on my end as well. So I don't know if your feed's buffering. Let us know, guys, if that's the case. Apologies if you're having some issues, but yeah.
I'm on data.
Yeah, no, I don't know. Rob, I'll have to let you know. Okay, so yeah, that's my favorite cameo of the film. What was yours?
Mine was the lawyer.
The lawyer.
At the end there, they just came in quick, And
What's the actor's name?
sure. Oh fuck, man, what's his name? I'm gonna see the full cast here. It's one of those things where I gotta see the full cast. There's my friggin' lights attracting everything again.
Oh, yeah. Some fucking car spiders.
Yeah, car spiders. These aren't spiders. These are those ones that go after. What the fuck was the lawyer's name, man? It's the lawyer at the end when he turns himself in and he's in there just to tell him his sort of rights.
Okay.
What he
Oh,
wants
yes,
to do,
yes.
what he wants
Yes, yes.
the way he delivers it. What the fuck is his name, man?
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to see where someone that got credited as lawyer. I'm not familiar. I don't know if I've seen that guy in anything before. Did you just like his part so much, or do you know this guy?
Yeah,
from
I liked the part. I liked how he just played comedy. I know him. I've seen him in a few things, but I can't remember. Like, I can't off the top of my head remember his name.
Mm-hmm.
What the fuck was it? It's hard to see on this one here. Let me see if I can.
Oh,
find it.
Richard Schiff. Yes.
Oh, check
is
out
this
some of
him?
the credits that you see there.
Richard Schiff.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a moment too, Max. That's a good point. Thanks for bringing that up. We're well aware of Kevin Spacey as a human being today, but this was 1995, and we're talking about this in the context of this film. But yeah, there is a category made specifically for him in this one. Yeah, no, for sure. Oh, you're having some
I'm a
issues
big
on your
fan,
hands?
man.
No. No, I mean, it's cutting out on a couple of people's ends for whatever reason. It might just be StreamYard tonight, guys. I'm not really sure. I mean, the internet, it doesn't seem to be giving us any issues on our end, so I apologize about that. Not really positive. We're not playing anything out of the ordinary. I could try to leave and come back in the room, see if that helps. Jay will still be on screen here. Let's try that quickly, okay? Jay, you stay right here. Let's see if that helps. One moment.
Disappear on me, Nico. Hey guys, how's everybody doing out there in this lovely late night chat world? I know you see me sitting out in the car if people are just tuning in, but you know what? Remember this was my spot during the pandemic. You know, it's a little weird, but it is what it is. And there's my co-host again. Look at him, the John Doe.
So I don't know, guys, if it
working?
has something to do with my connection or StreamYard, I just reset it. So hopefully that helps. If not, catch this on the replay. It will be up tomorrow at some point. So, you know, we encourage you guys to stick in. But yeah, if you're having some issues with the StreamYard on your end, if it's cutting out for you guys, I'm not sure because me and Jay, we're not having any issues on the screen here. So
it's actually working better here than when I'm on the laptop with you in front of you. It's actually, I get lag. I don't see lag right now.
Okay. Max says he just sometimes buffers on his phone. Yeah. Okay. Well, we're going to keep it rolling, guys. There's nothing we can do about that at the moment. But like I said, if you're having some issues and you can't hang in there, we understand.
Not me bumping anybody.
Yeah, we understand, but feel free to watch the replay. Okay. So, yeah, so that's who I think that actor was that I just mentioned is the lawyer there. Okay, now we're getting to the overacting award. JT, did you feel anybody deserves this title in this film of the overacting award?
I don't know. There's a girl, but I don't know her name. I can't remember her freaking name now. Her name was
Well, that doesn't do us any good. I said that doesn't do us any good.
She was just the you know, in the Greed guy, the lawyer that was killed.
Okay. Yeah.
For Greed, when they started doing that, I thought she was overreacting with her
Oh,
crying.
the wife.
I think she played it.
The wife.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
I don't think she had a specific name, like a specific role in that, or a specific
right.
thing. If you check up IMDb, I'm pretty sure it doesn't say the wife of the fucking lawyer, but
so mine's gonna be yeah. If you want to take a look, I'll tell you mine. Mine might be a little controversial to some. I've heard other people share this opinion before as well. Despite how good I felt he was in this film. But it's Brad Pitt for me, man. He overacts quite a bit in this film, I feel. And I think this is before a time Brad Pitt just knew how to act like Brad Pitt. You know how we say that about him now? Like he's just so like cool and calm, and he just like he seems like he's not acting even. You know what I mean? Like it's just Brad.
He was just like It
No,
was just
he's-
him being young and hyper for like as a cop detective.
I think this is too early in his career to really say that. I felt. Yeah,
You think
no.
it's too early in his career, man?
Yeah, I agree. I mentioned earlier, Max, you may have not been in here at that moment in time. I said I don't care for her that much in this film or her as an actress. I don't think she overacted in this one because you would have to be a better actor to do that. No, I'm
Yeah,
just
you
talking.
have to. I mean,
But-
she just had her head cut off. That was all.
I just thought, I don't know, Brad Pitt was a little over the top. Not even just the end where he's yelling about what's in the box, and going fucking crazy. Just like you said, he was very arrogant in this film. Like, you know what I mean? And purposely, maybe that's why he came off like that. Maybe, but I
I'm
just think
wondering
that.
if
I think he just, I just think like he understood like how maybe big of a movie this was going to be for him. And I think he was just, just a little over the top in a few scenes in the film. I thought, and I'm saying this liking his performance. I don't think he's bad whatsoever in this film. I don't think he's bad, but there's a few scenes I think he could have dialed it back a notch, a little bit. So for that, overacting or doesn't always mean like I think the actor shit. By the way,
No,
I just
I
want to clarify that. I just think, he overacted in a couple of scenes in this, including, the
I
ending.
always go for like the little pieces. I don't go for like the whole main character. I don't like to give it to the whole main character unless they deserve it, right?
Right.
There is some of them that will deserve it, and some people that would agree with you, and then what they would deserve.
Right.
I don't know. I just felt like that was part of his role. I felt like that was just part of his maybe what the script was about. You know what I mean?
I could be reading it wrong. That's what I mean. It could be just me, right?
Cool collective Morgan Freeman, just about to retire, knows how to do everything, and
Right.
smart ass Brad Pitt that comes in and just is like,
Yeah.
hey, I know everything,
Yeah.
So
I thought of that as
you
well.
said you could bring controversy, right? So I thought maybe here I'll let you know something that I think
Oh,
personally.
absolutely. I actually had the same thought that you had there as well. But if I got to be honest with myself, like his performance came screaming off the screen to the point where I'm like, he could dial it. And I might, like I said, I might also attribute it to the fact that as his career goes on, he has way more of a laid back approach to his acting, whether or not that's good or bad. You know what I mean? Like whether or not like some people could be like, he's phoning this one in. He's not fucking trying. You know what I mean? Like, so, and he's definitely been in films like that since then. Absolutely. As much as I like Brad Pitt, because he's been in some great stuff, even in recent years, mostly with Tarantino, which I've talked about on the show here before. But yeah, this is still a good performance. I just think that he definitely was over the top a couple of times. Okay, now we're getting into the worst performance award here. I actually got to give it to Joseph's buddy there, Leyland Orser. I just like it. I just like the way he was freaking out when he's talking about how he fucked that person with the knife dildo or whatever it was. I don't know, man. Like he was just like, I just didn't like that. I was just like, come on, look at this fucking guy. Like he's trying to act traumatized. I personally just didn't think, again, he really was believable. Like he seemed like I don't know, that for me, and no offense, Joe, if you're still around here, and I know you said you liked him in this. I don't know if you're just testing the waters on that one, or just like the fucked up scene that he was part of. And I like him. He's a good actor, that guy too. I've seen him in other things, but yeah, I got to give it to that. I think that his small little like 2-minute part for me was like the worst performance of a scene in this film, I felt. And that's even with Gwyneth Paltrow. So
no, but that I think my worst performance. That's where you're going. You said it.
Didn't like it. Sorry, guys.
I'll be hearing about that tomorrow.
You don't gotta agree with me. It's my opinion, but we don't know everything, and I've made plenty of bad ones. So
I'm on Joe's side for that. I don't know, but
okay.
Hey, I think I think the worst. I didn't like. I mean, I like certain things that she was part of because she was with Morgan Freeman, but I wasn't a big fan of Gwyneth Paltrow. I think that
That's
was
fair.
the
Yep.
worst for me.
She's right there.
I mean, she needed to bring some, I know, normalcy into it because it was just a male. It was really just a male cast, really.
Yeah.
If you kind of focused on the main characters, so they kind of, I don't know if they felt like they threw her in for that reason because, but I don't know. I just felt like, I mean, she was a big part of the movie. You know, she played in right into the ending, but
Could have been anybody, honestly. It could have been honestly, like it could have. I think. I
put a wig on me, and I could have probably done it.
I listen. You're not going to hear me argue you because, like I said, I'm not a huge fan of hers, right? So, if that scene didn't stick out to me as much, where I'm like, oh, I got to give it to this guy, I would have said her as well, but it would have been by default. I just don't think she did enough in this movie for me to be like she was terrible. I just normally don't like her and stuff. Like, I don't think she's a great actress. That doesn't mean that I think she had enough scenes in this, that's for sure. She did. She had like, 4 or 5 scenes, right? But yeah, I agree with you.
He's not commenting. Hey, Nas, not Nas.
He's not what?
He's not commenting on the movie. I thought he'd be liking the movie. Nas, not Nas.
No, he's not. I don't see it in the comments here today, unless he's just not chiming in. That's okay.
Hey, it's okay. No, but I just thought, maybe, he might come in.
Hugs out to JT. There you go.
Hey, there you go. What's going on, man?
You also like that actor's performance in this. See, I'm wrong here. People are hating on me. People.
Three sickos. It's just 3 sickos. Trust me. Trust me.
Yeah. Before we move on, though, guys, as always, if you want to throw out any performances that you thought weren't in the that were good in the film, or if you want to mention anybody you thought was overacting in the film, feel free, throw them in the comments. We'll highlight them on the screen here.
Who do you think's overacting when it comes to me and Nico, though?
Absolutely me. Yeah, I agree, Joe. That's a good point. Completely forgettable. Yeah, that's what I would say about her in this film.
Right?
Could have been by anybody.
You could have put Joseph in there, and it would have been, it would have been all right. We could have put a wig on him.
Jay, you want to? Well, we'll wait to see here if anybody else is going to chime in there with anything. But you want to mention I may be jumping around here, but this is the next one I have written down. Clutch performance of the film. You want to give us that one? Who did you think was the clutch performance of this film? Basically,
I definitely think it was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, same.
You know what I mean? Like, come on, hands up, hands down, whatever you want to do.
Yep. You took the words right out of my mouth, buddy. Yeah, you said it.
We were gonna have the same one. I knew kind of we were gonna have the same pick on that one, so I kind of figured it's kind of hard not to.
I was gonna say, if you're not giving him the best performance of the film, you have to give him the clutch performance of the film, because the amount of time that he's in the film, he almost outshines the other actor. Like, he does in a sense, like he's needed. His character has to be so twisted and interesting because the reveal is so built up that he had to deliver. I mean, he's great in this. Like I said, he was only on screen maybe 15, 20 minutes of the film, if that. And he shined like every moment of that, right? Like, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. No, we agree. Sure. Yeah, absolutely agree with that. Yeah.
Right. I mean,
there's not much you
can say about it.
No, I don't really have much even to add to that. Like, he's the clutch performance.
Cool, collective, and sick at the same time. I mean, I don't know what else you can add to it, right?
Yeah.
So, it could be. No, you can't. I can't even think of anybody else. I'm trying to think of something that would have drawn me away just right now in my head. I'm even looking at the cast, and I still can't think of it.
Well, because like clutch performance is somebody, again, just to talk about, what we count this category as describing is, someone that comes through in the clutch, someone that maybe doesn't have a lot of screen time, but he comes through and he kills his performance and he shines in that like part of the film that he's in. And he even outdoes a lot of people's performances. Right. And that is Kevin Spacey in this movie. Right. Like if he was bad, the film would have not been as good. if that killer, if that's like that scene when he reveals that it is him, the film would be nowhere near as interesting or as good as it was when they revealed that it was Kevin Spacey, right? Like, so yeah, it was really good. Yeah. I mean, because we found out kind of a fucked up person, I guess. Absolutely.
Come
See,
on,
there
Max.
you go. Megan could have played
Uh-oh.
Pitt's wife.
I
You
think
don't want to
pronounced
end up
it
in the
wrong.
box.
She's gonna kick your ass. No, I think you pronounced it wrong.
Is it Megan? It's not Megan? What is it?
No. Oh, keep going.
How do you pronounce it?
Right. It's pronounced. It's silent. The G and the H.
Well, why don't you fucking tell me if you
It's
Meehan?
Meehan.
Meehan.
Just
All right,
pretend like
there we
it's
go.
not there.
Meehan. My apologies.
There you go.
When you're reading it, it's a little bit different. What do you want? I can't tell what a silent letter looks like.
Why not?
All right, moving on. So who
You guys
won
are
the
too funny,
movie? Who won the movie?
See, this is where our controversy.
This is me. Hold up.
Go ahead.
So who won the movie overall, guys? This is a difficult one for this film. You could make an argument for quite a few people, and maybe we'll go through a couple of them here, depending on how Jay answers to make this argument. I gotta say, for me, fuck, this is hard, man. You can make an argument. I can make an argument right now for 3 different people. So I'm gonna say this one because I don't know. This is the one I have written down. I don't think Jay is gonna say this. I gotta say David Fincher, because if you look at his credits.
No, I didn't go. I should have read the director thing. I didn't do it. I know his credits, but I mean, go on.
So if you look at David Fincher's credits before this, other than Alien 3, which is not one that people remember fondly, I know it has its fans, like everyone in the series, like in these series do. But Alien 3, following up after Alien and Aliens, the second one there, like. That was the one that a lot of people fucking hated. So he directed that film. That was like the first film he directed after a slew of music video stuff, which I wasn't even aware of. And then he still does to this day. He directs like a lot of music video type stuff, right? And music documentaries. And that's why he's worked with Trent Reznor, hence the intro to this thing and the Fight Club soundtrack, all that kind of shit, right? Yeah. But this was his first, again, because I don't think Alien 3 was well received. I was surprised to find this was his first like big fucking breakthrough film in terms of directing, at least according to his credits that I was reading, not anything else, writing, producing, like director. And this was the one that came after Alien 3. And prior to that, it was all like music video type stuff that they had him in. So I think just because he became such a name after this movie, and he went on to direct things like Fight Club, and he went on to do Social Network and other films that aren't coming to mind right now that he's well known for. Yeah, I mean, I got to give it to Fincher, and I'm waiting for your response here, Jay, because like I'm not going to probably argue yours either, because I could have made an argument for 2 other people right off the top of my head here.
Well, I think it was Brad Pitt for me. I like him, dude. I like him all around. I really do like Morgan Freeman, but for me, I think the role was too. You had Brad Pitt, which was too hyped up, so the role kind of it took it off of Morgan Freeman there a little bit, a lot of the limelight, and then, of course, once the ending kicks in, I mean, he's kind of like the It almost feels like to me when you're watching the movie, and even though he's doing a lot of the little monologues and stuff like that. The thing is he's almost like the background guy, even though he's the one that's asking the questions and doing the research. Just because it's such an intense film, I feel like he's too calm. I feel that he was too calm for it. I mean, he was calm, but too calm. You know what I mean? I find there's a difference. You need to kind of react a little bit. I mean, he was just. I know he was on his way out. He was older. He was supposed to be an older cop, and but I still think, like I said, I mean, you weren't such a thing of Brad Pitt when you said it, and a performer, right? But I think for myself there, yeah, it's Brad Pitt for me.
Yeah, so Lewis
Right?
brings up. No, I can't argue on that one. I was going to say Brad Pitt because again, looking at the films the few films he did prior to this was a big step up for him. And I was also going to make the argument. You can also make the argument for Kevin Spacey because this is like the best year of Kevin Spacey's career between this and The Usual Suspects. If you look at his IMDb, right? So like, in my opinion, anyways. So Lewis brought up an interesting point here. Would you replace certain actors with different actors in the film? Like, for example, swap Brad Pitt with Leo DiCaprio.
No.
I know a lot of people when they talk about movies, they do this kind of game. I really suck at this kind of thing. So that's why I didn't really want to include it as part of like the categories when we talk these films.
But it's cool.
But
Ask if they
it
want
is cool.
suggest.
Yeah, no, it is cool to think like that. I just really suck at trying to think of other people in other people's places, right? As good as would I see DiCaprio in this film? No, I don't think so. As good as he is, I don't think
Young. He would
no.
have been
Yeah.
young.
Max pointed out Al Pacino was the first choice for Morgan Freeman's role. That would have been cool. At this point in time, yeah. I mean, I love Al Pacino. Again,
But
I
I
guess
don't
around this
think
point,
this is his role.
yeah, I could see him more. Well, if he was young and he was the hotshot Brad Pitt character, now that would have been interesting because Al Pacino, of course, one of my favorite actors, one of maybe the best actors of all time, in some people's opinions. I think a lot of people were saying around this point in time in his career, he was also overacting quite a bit, right? Like this is maybe after like Son of a Woman and all that kind of shit, like around that time, right?
Yeah.
As you go further into the 90s, I think it's fewer and fewer memorable roles, right? I think the best work of his was somewhat behind him. Although he was just in that fucking film we just talked about. He was fantastic in that movie. He still does good stuff here and there, but he takes a lot of stupid, shitty roles nowadays too. You know, though I'm talking about the one on Netflix that we just talked about, the last Scorsese film.
Oh, no, Scorsese. Sorry, I know which one you're talking about. The fuck, man, Irishman.
Yeah, Irishman. Thank you. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Yeah, Joe says, I feel even with his over-the-top performance, you can feel Pitt growing as an actor. Absolutely. Freeman's performance is reminiscent of his character in Along Comes the Spider. Yep. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Yeah, because he is
fucking Lewis. Fucking ruining the show once again. Fucking just distracts us with these questions.
It's all good, buddy. It's all good.
Nah, he's saying it. I'm just busting his balls. Okay, so moving on. So
when we see him next.
Tune in on Monday's show, guys. Lewis, who's in the chat,
know that reference is about.
Yeah. Will be our guest.
Tune in on Monday.
Okay, now this is a hard one. And you're going first on this, so I'm interested to hear what you have to say. I might have to piggyback on I have an answer, but I'm not too positive.
Real fucked up ones. Two real fucked up categories I had a hard time with.
And saying the answer that I have, people are going to be like, "What?" I'm going to have to justify it, at least in my head. Okay, career peak. So Jay, go ahead. Jay's going to let us know, everybody, who he felt this may have been the peak of their career in this film. And this was a hard one to do it for, to be honest with you. Sometimes we made the argument this is the start of a moment in time when the actor peaked. Like this may have been the start of a run or in the middle of a run right before they peaked at a certain point. Maybe, jumped the shark with their movie roles that they started choosing. Maybe they just aren't that good anymore, this and that. Maybe this would have been the best year of their career. Right. So, make your argument, Jay, because this was a tough one for me. The career peak for actors in this one, very tough for me in this film.
Well, I feel, to be honest with you, this was not an easy one. There's ones the guys that I was looking at, they're all roughly in the same, and you really got to look because remember, I brought up this point in the beginning, and Morgan Freeman only started acting in his 40s.
Sure.
So it really does mess with a lot of things with stats on that question, because there's quite a few good ones before and quite a few great ones after.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I thought it could be him, in my opinion, because he came out with a lot of stuff in 2000. Right. He came in with a few things, noticeable in the 90s, in the early 90s. Plus he was on TV show in the 70s and stuff like that. So He has been in little things here and there, right? But I was thinking because he was in, I don't know how big the role was, but he was in a few things beforehand. So this could have been, this is where I'm having the issue because it's building up to his peak. I feel there was a few actors that was happening. So I mean, this one is one of those hard ones. So I kind of went with Morgan Freeman only in the sense that I think.
Would you argue that this was the middle of a run where before he peaked? Like, was this in the middle of a run where at a certain point, maybe in the 90s, you would say
on way up? I think he was on his way up, even higher.
Okay.
Because I think he was there already. He was at a certain peak, and then I think he was going higher because he did a lot in 2000, dude. I mean, almost every year he came out with something or two, one or two movies, right?
So can I tell you, and these might be both terrible answers me and Jay are going to give. You might be like, you guys are fucked now, because like I said, this is a hard category to kind of to relate to this film, just because I don't feel that this was anywhere near the peak of maybe some of these guys' performances at the time. But I'm going to say Kevin Spacey, just because that year he did this. And again, I keep mentioning Usual Suspects, and this is probably the hottest year of films of that at least I like of his. I don't think he ever got better than he was at this moment in time. And I know I think he won an award for that American Beauty movie, and he's great in that. And he did a bunch of great stuff too. But then he also started doing a bunch of crappy stuff. He did a bunch. Wait, what? K-Pax? You like that fucking movie? Is that what you just said?
I liked it, bro. I kind of liked it, man. I'm weird that way, bro.
So, but then he started doing a lot of stupid fucking roles too, picking up stuff as he went into the 2000s, right? Yeah. So there you go. Shawshank, a movie that we talked about actually
before. The year before. I was just gonna say, man, he did. He came out with it in '94, and that was a peak.
So this is why I'm making the argument for Spacey, though, because I don't think for me he ever got as good as he did in these two films that year. If I'm going back and looking through his IMDb, like I mentioned, he's never done another good movie before. It was okay. I'm glad you guys like K-Pax. Yeah, I watched it once. To be fair, I've only watched it once, and it was like years and years ago. But
I'm just as nerdy as Joseph.
I don't know. That's the one where he's like an alien or something, right?
Yeah, man. It's overlooked performance. Very calm. He plays that calm, cool, collective guy. You know what I mean? And just very intellectual when he's talking about.
After a while, other than like his last great performance before he got fucking
he's not very versatile.
Exiled from Hollywood. I thought he was great as an evil fucking over the top guy in House of Cards, right? Before he got exiled out of Hollywood, like you know,
and it just stopped. House of Cards fucking sucked.
He's had good performances as bad guys mostly throughout the second half of his career, all over the place. But he also took a lot of shitty fucking roles and things too, just like forgettable performances. Like I said, I think I like him even better, I think, in Usual Suspects. Honestly, and then, which is funny because that was the other movie you actually mentioned when you were talking about doing the next one. You said this one or you said Seven, and I don't know if you had Spacey on your mind there or something for some reason, but yeah, I don't think it ever got as good as it was for him that year, like coming off of these two films. So that's why I got to say, like, for me, it's got to be him for this.
And then Brad Pitt just was going up from there.
Oh, absolutely. This was like the start.
Just kept going.
Yeah, absolutely. You can't even make an argument for him. Yeah. No, I'm not mad at Morgan Freeman, but it's a hard category for sure.
I mean, Morgan Freeman, I think he did a few, and then I think this is when he started about maybe a re-trend up again. You know what I mean? Into the 2000s.
What do you guys think in the chat there? If you want to throw forward your suggestions here, who do you think? Who do you think maybe possibly career peak of this film, or who won the movie in your opinion? Come on, guys, let us know. Yeah, that's actually one of Rob's favorite fucking films, right? Rob, chime in here. I think Max, you brought up The Ref. Rob, I think, loves that film. I remember him talking about that very fondly before. I know he's in that movie. I know which one you're talking about. So we'll wait, maybe see if these guys are going to chime in. But let's get into nitpicks of the film.
I got one for you. Is that yours?
I only have two things. I don't love Gwyneth Paltrow. And that's like a personal, I just don't like her as an actress. That has nothing to do, I guess, with this. I'm just enjoying fucking talking shit like an asshole here. But I really found, and this is the first time I've ever experienced this, I think, during this movie, and I've watched this movie multiple times, and maybe it even played into the fact of why I like I said, I thought he was a little over the top. I really dislike Brad Pitt's character as the movie goes on this watch around. He becomes so arrogant and such a fucking asshole, and I know that's that's his character. I get it. Well, and he has something to prove. No, I understand. I'm just saying, I was mad at how much of an asshole he seemed to become very slowly, because the movie starts off, he's a nice guy, he's just trying to prove himself. You know what I mean? Like I dig him at the start of the film. And then all of a sudden it's like someone flipped the switch and he becomes a fucking, like towards the end, just like unnecessarily talking shit to this fucking maniac in the back. And like, I'm not feeling sorry for Kevin Spacey, don't get me wrong, but like he didn't need to like, hitting people with cameras. He was under a lot of stress and he was, deflected. I get it. Like in his home life wasn't great. He was kind of ignoring his wife because he was so invested in the case. I'm stating my case here, Jay, before you go off, because I know how fond you are of Brad Pitt in this. His character, again, I didn't think he played a bad character. He just was such an arrogant dick as time went on. I just never realized, I think, until this time watching it.
So think of it this way: if you're the director, okay?
Yeah.
Think of it this way: you're playing a role, and Morgan Freeman says in the beginning, he says he's too young. It's too early for him for a case. Did not Morgan Freeman not call it in the beginning? And if you watch, you see how he plays perfectly into that character where he is too young. It's too early for him to be doing a case like that, because it's going to change him as a person, and it did throughout the movie. If you've seen when they first start having dinner at the house, and he's sitting there jerking off his puppies, you know what I mean? Sorry, I had to throw that one in there. Yeah. That was my nitpick. I didn't know if that's what he was doing or not. Okay, but all thanks to Joe, not just Joe, but Joe, your buddy. Joe Budden. So
not that Joe.
But yeah, not that Joe. But yeah, no, I think if you're looking at a story in a director's point of view, that's why I think this movie was phenomenal, bro, because it played so well into itself. I think it should have been longer. I honestly feel like it ended too soon. I feel that they could have played it out a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, listen, it's not that I don't understand why he became an asshole, or that I'm not sympathetic to why he became that, but like it just bugged me a bit, because I remember liking his character a lot more, and while the performance was good and I liked him in the film, his character it was very noticeable how much of an asshole he became as time went on to me, and I never remembered that or felt that way. And upon this rewatch, it was the first time I'm really like, wow, he is really fucking turning into a huge asshole here. Like, I don't know. It just stuck out to me. And it's a nitpick just because I didn't like that character. Not that I didn't think it was needed or it was unnecessary or like not good. It was strange to me, like how much like of an asshole he turns.
Really, I don't like him. Brad Pitt did. Hey, you don't like him, hey? Or do you like him as an actor, or just this movie was?
I think I've explained myself pretty well. I never said that I didn't like him in this film.
No. You just didn't like him as much, and you thought maybe he overacted, or he had nitpicks about him. So yeah, that's why I was just worried.
Yeah, I have nitpicks. I've said several times I think he's good in the film. Yeah, nitpicks.
You have personal.
I'm not like you who wants his dick pics. That's you. Go ahead, Jay. What are your dick pics for this film?
Dick pics. You're fucked.
Are dick pics still a thing?
Didn't I just say the same? Didn't I? When we were just talking, we were just arguing your case. My nitpick about this film. it wasn't long enough. It wasn't. I didn't want to see it end. That was my nitpick. I wanted to see.
How long was the screen time? Was it 2 hours or an hour and 45?
Not even an hour and 40 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
They weren't that long. It was different then, man. They weren't your basic 2-hour films, right?
Right. Everything's
a little longer.
You get 2-hour comedies now.
Yeah. You know, so I think it wasn't long enough. I think they could have played the story out really well. I know they played it out short and sweet, if you want to look at it that way, and to the point. But if you really wanted to get into, you know, it would have been nice to find out some more things, like maybe the way behind how he did it. Maybe they could have showed how it started off. You know how then in a lot of these movies and TV shows, sometimes they backtrack.
Yeah.
And you know, and they jump around. Like I've told you those are nitpicks about mine where movies jump around, but it'd been nice to know or see how, like he explains quickly in the car ride on the way why he does what he's doing to these people, why he's killing them, right? But yeah, that was just my nitpick. I think it could have been played out a lot better.
Yeah. Well, that's why these things can be very personal. It's not even necessarily like this ruined the film for me, but that's why, you know, they're nitpicks. They're like, you know, I would have changed this if I really, you know, had my way, this kind of thing, right? So, okay, so why don't you let us know, give out the, I forgot about this one, the That Guy Award, or so we're not being sexist, that person award, the one where you see somebody in a film and you're like, that person, that guy, or that woman that I know from something where they're not a big enough actor to kind of, you know, their name automatically when you see them, but you see them, you're like, I know that person from like 7 different other fucking things, small parts, you know? So
yeah, the guy you were talking about there, and I had said it. I didn't know if he was going to be a cameo, like a little, because he was only in it a very short time. But that guy, he was like, you know, trembling, and I'm going, who the fuck is that guy? I know him from somewhere. The actor that did the bondage scene, and he was sitting there crying to Brad Pitt, not to Brad Pitt, to Morgan Freeman about what he had to do.
Yeah.
But I know I seen him in like some of these new television shows and stuff like that, or even newer movies with like Seth. What's that guy's name? Seth Green.
Okay.
Am I not right? You know that? You know who that?
I know who Seth Green is. I'm like, what film did you watch him in? Yeah, Ermi.
Yeah. Do you know that's his name?
Yeah. Layla.
Life?
No, he was talking about. I think he was talking about the chief though.
Oh. I'm talking about the guy.
No, you're talking about the Bilbo guy. Yeah, he thought you were talking about the police captain. You're talking about the dude that Leyland.
Yeah. I'm thinking Leyland also.
Yeah.
But he's been in a few good films too, right? Now that I've seen him in these other films, The Bone Collector, Taken. I've seen him in a lot of these other films too, right?
Yeah.
But I haven't seen him in a while, so I didn't know who it was at first. So I was like, "Who's that guy?" You know, like.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that popped in my head. It wasn't No Girl this time like I did last time, and I pulled that one on you. But
right,
you know, he's been in quite a few, right? He was in quite a few movies. Now that I'm looking at it right now here, I decided to pull it up. But yeah, he's in quite a few movies here that you might know. You know, Taken, right? He's in Daredevil, Pearl Harbor. He's in quite a few, man. I don't know how big of an actor he was in all of them, but I know I've seen him quite a few places. I just didn't know who he was at first, and then it's funny that Joseph brought him up right away.
Yeah. No, I know him from a lot of other things too that I've seen him in. He was definitely in the running for me. I had a couple for this.
TV shows too.
I seen I don't actually got the actor's name, but the guy that plays Bobby on Sons of Anarchy, who looks like half the fucking size in this. He comes in, he's the guy that got them the photograph, like the intel at one point.
Yeah.
He's like you know, he's a big guy, this guy, right? And he looks like a shell of himself in this movie. He has no fucking beard. It's really fucking weird. Mark Boone Jr. Yeah, greasy FBI man is what he was credited as. So yeah, he's Bobby on the Sons of Anarchy. He really stood out to me because he looked nothing like him fucking self in this. Like I said, he weighed like half the size. Yeah, he was in this. He had no fucking beard. You can barely tell it's him. It's the guy that meets him in the diner that he hands him the envelope.
Oh yeah, Mark. Yeah. Greasy. Yeah,
Right?
yeah. But,
You can't even fucking
oh,
tell it's him. It's so weird. And but I didn't give it. I didn't give it to him. He was in the running, but for me, I gave it to what's his name here? I'm looking for his Reg E. Cathy. He was the doctor. He was the coroner, the black coroner. After Gluttony at the start of the film, he's the one that kind of goes in and he finds they're talking to him in the morgue. He's a great character actor that's been on some of my favorite shows of all time, including the Wire. He was on House of Cards, and he was also on Oz. I just love this guy. I mostly know him from TV. He's done a lot of different great character acting on TV shows over the years. He's dead now. Actually, he died a couple years ago in 2018. But seeing him in this film, I had forgot he was in this. And I think he's just a great character actor, a great actor. And I've seen him in like I said, quite a few things. I've really enjoyed him, and I think he always does a great job. So especially The Wire, he was my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters when he was on The Wire. So I really liked seeing him in this. So I got to give him the that guy award, just because I'm not used to watching him in films. Most of his work I've seen on TV. So when I saw him here, I was like, hey, look who it is, right? I was really happy to see him. So ultimately, I got to give it to him.
There's quite a few. I mean, now that I look at now that I looked up who you were just talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah,
there's also the SWAT guy. The SWAT guy is in a lot of things too. The guy who was the SWAT guy that went in, the guy that talked shit to the dead body, the body he thought was dead, the sloth, that guy.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking for his name right now. John C. McGinley. He's in a ton of shit that I've seen him in too. Yeah, Mark Boone is good. Yeah, John C. McGinley. If you guys aren't aware, don't know him, look him up. He's been in a lot of things. Again, mostly known for things on TV. He was in. I never really watched it, but it looks like he was a regular on Scrubs, I guess at some point. Yeah, he was on a lot of TV. He has a lot of TV credits, it looks like. So, but again, somebody that has seen films. What's that?
There's quite a few in here. There's quite a few that are in here that have been in other stuff. And now that I'm looking at it,
who was in Candyman? Angie, which actor? The one that I just mentioned? I remember watching that film. I don't remember. I have to look it up.
No, there's quite a few on here that are other films. Yeah. Now that I'm actually seeing the list.
No, for sure. But for the sake of time, let's move on to the next.
I'm gonna say we can go on forever.
Yeah.
Even Morgan Freeman's fun looks like.
What's aged the best? Let's get into that. Go ahead, Jay. What do you think aged the best of this film? Oh, McGinley. Okay, he was in Candyman, eh? Huh.
Oh yeah.
Did not know that. Didn't remember that.
Yeah. I remember Candyman. But yeah. What aged the best? I think the way just they portray.
Okay, he's amazing in Stand Against Evil. I've never seen that. Okay.
What was I gonna say? What aged the best? What I thought aged the best is just how the police force and stuff works. It's still the New York City police. You know, the department, how they portray it back in the earlier, the days. I know it was 95, but I think they were making it seem like it was just late 80s or something like that. Or I was trying to place the year of the film, like the year time setting. I don't know if it was supposed to be current time. It might have been, right? But they were using a lot of cars from the 80s and stuff. I just find that when they do stuff like that and they portray the New York Police Department and stuff like that, I feel like they do a good job. Like he did a good job. Like he is. Maybe you can give it to maybe you can say something about the director on this part, but I mean, if he's actually the one thinking about it, then his creativity is aging the best.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I could say, because it's actually keeps getting better, as you said, as it's going along. He's getting
Absolutely.
a Fight Club. He's just very creative, right? And with this movie, you really do have to be creative, right?
Yeah.
So I think yeah, just the whole way they played that movie around the police department, the focus, how the old cop, bad cop, young cop, young cop, old cop, bad cop, good cop sort of thing. The
Yep.
way they played the roles, I think that aged really good because they still
Yep.
do that now, and I think, I mean,
Noir,
if it's
like
not
a
the
noir
same,
crime.
it's gotten better.
Dark noir crime setting type film. Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah, no, that's a good answer.
I
Actually,
hated that the whole thing was dark. That part, like that, it just sucks to have that, the darkness and and having to focus on stuff when everything's dark. I mean, every movie, it's just. But I mean, I like that style, even though it sucks to watch because you can't really point out flaws, right?
no, I get what you're saying. No, you make that's a great point. Actually, that's a good answer. I like that. Mine were the end scene. I still think it's aged great, knowing what's gonna happen and the lead up to that ending, right? I think it's still aged great, and religious freaks. I still think whenever, and I apologies to anybody here in the chat or that's viewing this that is religious. There's certain aspects of religion I think that are scary, and whenever you get these people in these films that are overly religious to the point where like they're actually living out the 7 deadly sins, for instance, in this this film, that's, to me, that's a scary aspect. You know what I mean? Like whenever there's you put sprinkle a little religion kind of motivation in some of these bad guys in these films, it really drives a lot of these characters and really brings something else out. So like for me, I thought that's aged fairly well, because that's still something that when you think about it, you know what I mean? Like it's kind of fucked up for some of the things. If you get that into it, that you're actually doing things like this, right? And I know that it motivates a lot of people in that sense that are like this, right? Lewis just actually threw out an interesting question here. I like this one. What character would you most likely go out for for drinks with? I guess Brad Pitt. Yeah, Brad Pitt. As much as I didn't like his character, as much as he seems like the coolest guy, though. I think out of all, Morgan Freeman, he might be a bore. You would go out and you'd like, you know what I mean? Like you'd like judge you or something, right? Like he seems like a kind of, Kevin Spacey would just talk your fucking ear off. Like it was just, if he tried to tell you the ways of the world and all this kind of shit, and I'd be like, I don't know, man. I don't know if he'd be like one of these conspiracy theorists today, right? So maybe that would be, it'd be entertaining. I'll give you that, but I think I'd be a little creeped out.
You know which character I'd like to go out with? Lewis.
Oh yeah, Lewis is the number one character we'd like to go out with for sure. Thank God he's seeing us on Monday. Yeah, Joe just mentioned he was raised a Catholic, was an altar boy. Religion is very scary. Yeah, absolutely, man.
That explains a lot, Joseph. We'll have to discuss that tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm not knocking anybody's lifestyle in that sense. I just think that it plays into a lot of or beliefs or whatever. It just plays into a lot of the things I think that drive these creepy religious people in these films, right? I don't know. I just think whenever they're too extreme with it, they tend to do fucked up things. These guys in these films.
Was Kevin Spacey an altar boy though?
I don't know. You're gonna make a bad time joke on Kevin Spacey right now. I'm not even gonna go there, my friend. Raised Catholic, mom was scary as a Bible thumper. Yeah, I mean,
chat says.
I think it just brings different types of extremes out in some, right? So I'm glad some people are agreeing with us on that one. So at least, from different perspectives, we're getting some different perspectives here. Moving into what's aged the worst. Kevin Spacey. I mean, that's number one, right, guys? I wrote down here, I wrote Kevin canceled Spacey here just because, I'm not going to get into what he's been essentially canceled for here. I'm not going to get into that whole ball of fucking yarn here, but oh yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that would be a good person to fucking get drunk. That is true. Yeah, the captain, the police captain.
Oh, yeah.
That red.
Can you imagine that?
You could tell you war stories for sure. No, he's an interesting character for sure. That is a good one. I like your answer, Joe. Thanks for joining in on the chat today. This is awesome.
With the accent, yeah, he would sit there with that accent, that hillbilly accent, that southern.
This ain't even my phone.
Oil tycoon accent. Yeah. That's what he reminds me of. Some like big oil.
Yeah.
Guy, man. I don't know, from Texas.
Yeah. but yeah, in the context of him in this film, he was great, and I liked him as an actor. But then, like I said, we found in today's times he's gotten canceled. He's currently not acting. He just appears in a weird video once a year as his character from House of Cards for whatever fucking Frank Underwood. That's the last time we saw Kevin Spacey, I think, was this Christmas, as he appeared in a clip of his Frank Underwood addressing people online after he was essentially kicked out of Hollywood. So very fucking strange. If you guys have never seen that, look that up on YouTube. I think it's Kevin Spacey I think Frank Underwood was his name, the House of Cards character. He did 2 videos ever since I think he got canceled essentially in the culture, they're just weird and cryptic fucking mess. I think he's acting as his character from House of Cards because they killed him off on that last season. It's really fucking strange, man. Like, I think it's really interesting, but really fucking strange that he would do that and put that out there. Like, I think that's the only time I've heard from Kevin Spacey since all this shit that he did back in the day was revealed, right? So,
if you look at his picture, his cast picture there, he kind of looks creepy when he's looking at you.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. I think that's the only thing I had is aged the worst. And library research. I don't think you see that as much anymore. I love how he went to that library. I love how, right? It hasn't aged well, right?
No, that's what I was going with. I was going there. I was going to say that with the the FBI and the NSA, because the FBI was spying on the library cards, right?
Right.
So I just thought that was hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah, no, for sure. But is that all you had then? I guess for that, I guess Kevin Spacey.
I didn't think Kevin Spacey because I didn't kind of want to go down that road. But yeah, no, I get what you're saying along that. I kind of agree with you on that too.
And if you don't know, look it up. I'm not going to get into it here, but like I said, we were talking about him in the context of this film, and I feel if we were sitting here talking shit about the guy for things we don't even know, it would kind of take away from his performance. This isn't about us, like waving the red flag and being like, this guy's bad, right? So, okay, and then lastly, our last category of the night, and then we'll open it up if you guys have any, check it out, Joe. It's just interesting. It's really strange. Like, if you're aware of his character on that show, it's, I think he's done it twice since these allegations came out against him. So it's just very, very strange when I saw them.
Come on, Joe. Seriously, where have you been? Under a rock? You read.
So our last category here, unanswerable questions. Guys, feel free to ask us anything else or chime in about the film as we get to the wrap up of the show here. Thanks for tuning in tonight, guys. It's been a good time. And then we'll announce our October movie that we'll be doing next month. It's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to that. Possibly unanswerable questions, Jay. Which ones you got there?
You know what, dude? I didn't have an answerable question, to be honest. I kind of answered for you? I find everything was answered for me, but except when Kevin Spacey asked that question when he said that he threw up on the subway on that guy, and I thought to myself, would you ever throw up on the subway on a person? Have you ever thrown up on the subway on somebody? That's the only thing. I don't know why, for some reason at that point made me think of that, but no. I didn't really I couldn't think of anything. I was trying my hardest to think of something that was unanswerable, but maybe because I've seen this movie quite a few times.
No, I think they did a pretty good job of answering all the questions about the film itself. I just wrote down some questions that the film, like you just did, kind of made me think about, real life and just to pose questions to you and the audience to answer. But I agree with you. I think they did a pretty good job of answering all the kind of the things in this film. There's one that I have here, but to answer your question, I threw up on the subway, but not on a person before. But I've thrown up on the subway. Absolutely drunk. Absolutely. But I put here, what did Kevin Spacey have set up before he had to change his plans at the end there? Did he change his plans, or did he just speed it up at the end there? And Brad Pitt was always part of the plan for this 6 and 7 of the sets.
No, that is true. I didn't think about that either. Yeah,
that's the only question that I had. And honestly, I honestly that's the only question I had was like, what else would he have possibly had planned for them that we didn't possibly get to see played out the way he may have wanted it? I think that the way he was talking to him, he was always part of the plan, But like, what
Yeah.
changed about the? Because remember, he gets on the phone with him when he's in his apartment. He's like, I got to change things now. You made me fucking. He said something like, you made me have to change, like, speed things up or change how things were going to unfold. Like, what would have been different if they didn't stumble upon him in that scene? That's the only thing where I was kind of pondering about it. I was like, I wonder, because he said he insinuates that is the case. Like, he had to change something about his approach. So I don't know.
Maybe he just
That's the
speed it up. Like that's what I thought, and in that point, like in that part, in your question there, the thing the unanswerable question for you there, but the thing that I thought though about that was that it was always the intent, because I mean, if he was already researching everybody, or he was already killing people a year ago, I feel like he's been Morgan Freeman.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sorry, Jay. I think you got a call there. Your sound went out there. I know what you're getting at. Joe just brought up John Doe's family. What happened there? That's a good question too. And in the same sense, I know they explained that he was independently wealthy for whatever reason, and they didn't understand like where he came from and who he was and all that. But also, how was he independently wealthy? Right? We don't know that either. Like, that's another question too. But like they explain that he is. And that's all you really needed to know. You didn't really need to know the ins and outs, because he's, fucking crazy. And he see all these madman ramblings that they came across in his apartment. That's all you kind of needed to know. That's the thing. They gave you everything you needed to know. And some of the mystery behind the character, hence the John Doe part of it, was what made the character interesting, right? You're like, we don't really know where this guy came from. So I understand that he didn't, if we knew more about him, I think it would make it less interesting. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Wouldn't make it as suspenseful either, because I mean, really, why do you need to know about his family?
No, but he's posing some good questions here. Could Freeman have been Wrath? Huh.
No, Wrath was I thought
if that was one of the seven, that wasn't that Brad Pitt then? Because Envy was the fucking, what's his name? John Doe was Envy. John Doe was Envy, and Brad Pitt was the.
I actually wrote it down. I got the first one was a gluttony, right? The first murder. The second murder was the greed. Was the lawyer, was the greed, right? Right. Okay, the sloth was the guy who was who they starved to death there.
Yeah.
Right. Lust was the one that got the girl that got whatever.
The model was
Pride was
the model.
Pride gave the girl a choice of whether to live or die, right?
Yeah.
Now the envy was Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
And he said, didn't he say, become vengeance, become wrath at the end? Didn't Kevin Spacey say that?
Okay, good point, Joe. Yeah, no. He was wrath in that sense, because he let out his aggression on him, killed him, yes. But he did make a good point here, Joe, but he changed his plans. He's saying, could Freeman have been wrath at first? It was a new cop. This plan was in effect for a long time. That's a good fucking point, man.
But that's kind of where I was going with that whole thing when I said that, he's had it all. I thought he had it all planned out. So it could have been either Freeman on that part, but maybe he knew Brad Pitt was going to be assigned. I don't know. He knew a lot. He knew quite a bit about a lot of things, right?
Well, even though this seemed like it was his life work, we know for a fact it was at least in play for more than a year, these plans, because a couple of the people that were saying that he was torturing them for over a year, right? Or just a year at that point. So, so we know that at the very least. But all the planning that would have went into actually doing all this kind of shit and putting this stuff together, the logistics of it would have taken more than that. So, and the way he made it seem was like he was cataloging all this shit for his whole fucking life. That's why there was like 1,000 notebooks in there, right? Like, and he said it was all fucking ramblings. So, but I like Joe's point though. Yeah, who knows, right? He had to change it up. So who knows who would have? That's an interesting perspective. I don't know. I don't see Freeman as Wrath, but you never know.
I just feel like he knew that because within a year, I mean, honestly, dude, you would know that the cop was there. I mean, Brad Pitt, he's doing it. He was a detective for a while. He probably knew he was going to get promoted if he knew everything about where Morgan Freeman was in the precinct.
Right.
I just played it all into that part as a storyline, right? I made
Sure,
that
sure.
part up in my head. Then that's
Yeah, and
kind of what they're leaving this open to interpretation, right?
absolutely. And as a viewer, it's more interesting if you can do that for yourself, or the film actually, is good enough that
All
you
the tears
do. Absolutely. Yeah. My last one here were possibly unanswerable questions was, would you have shot Kevin Spacey? Because that's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. And you knew
I
it
know,
would have
but that was the game.
I don't know. I would
Brad
like to.
Pitt talked about the game the whole time. He said, "This is a game. He's fucking with us," and he lost the game. Brad Pitt lost the game.
One of Joe's ramblings. There you go. I like that. No, that was a good question, man. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not gonna sit here and tell you if I found my fucking wife's head in a box that I wouldn't shoot the guy if I had a chance. I'm just saying, knowing what he wanted, and this would have really fucked with him. I know in that moment though you would react, right? So I would like to say no, just because watching the film, I was like, even now knowing what's gonna happen, I'm like, don't fucking give him the satisfaction. You know what I mean? Like, and Morgan Freeman tries his hardest in a sense, but not to restrain him. He said he knows. He's like, put the fucking gun down. He's like, all right, like he's like,
he tried to shoot he tried to shoot the helicopter away and not to listen for those guys not to pay attention.
Because he's like, give this guy his fucking space. Like he's like, because at first, like, he knew what was gonna happen. He knew right away. He knew right away.
He said it. He goes, he's got the upper hand here, guys.
So Joe says he wouldn't have shot him. Huh. See, there you go. I think it's just like you would want to think he wouldn't.
Joe would have done some torture to him. That's the thing. Joe would have tortured him first before he would have brought him back and did some weird things with him, and then that would.
I would also like to say I wouldn't, but that's again an outside looking in perspective of knowing, you know what I mean, the situation in the moment. If that actually happened, who to say?
No, dude, if he's telling you calmly that she didn't agree with me, so I cut off her head. I took a souvenir, and he said it's so serious, and they knew that he wasn't fucking around at this point, bro. He already came into the police station with his fucking, hands all bloodied up, and they knew there was a third blood on the shirt, right?
Yeah.
We just know who it was at first. And the third, we didn't know if you didn't see the movie, right?
There you go. You would have got a wicked beating. Okay, well that about does it for our category.
He actually held the gun to his head like Kevin Spacey was holding the gun to everybody else, if you notice, because the actual indents on every body, they had that indent of the gun, right?
Mm-hmm.
Where he held the gun to somebody's head to make them do what they were doing, right?
Mm-hmm.
He should, and then Brad Pitt just made a point of putting it against his head, and then fuck it, he just unloaded.
Right. Yeah, it's still great. That's it for our categories, guys. Great movie. I still enjoy it. I've liked every one of these that we've done so far, because we are focusing on rewatching movies that we have watched before at this point in time, and talking about ones that we enjoy, kind of giving it a second look, maybe revisiting it for the first time in years. Thanks for everybody joining in today with us. Once again, a few little reminders of upcoming stuff here with the channel, because we do a bunch of other shows. Thanks again. This Friday we're doing another battle. We're doing Biggie against Tupac, me against Jesse, who's been on the show. So please tune in and throw your votes out there for us, guys. Should be some fun times there that night. Good music. That'll be 8 p.m. this Friday here on our YouTube. Once again, subscribe to our channel if you haven't yet. Joe, are you subscribed? You better be. If not, hit that subscribe button and hit that thumbs up.
I don't think you'd be able to be in the chat if he wasn't.
No, you can come in the chat if you're not subscribed. Yeah, that's why I try to remind people, right? Yeah. So no, just because it was the first time I seen his name pop in here. So thanks for everybody tuning in here today, and let people know we're on the road to 100 right now. We're trying to build up to 100 subscribers on YouTube. We currently have 84. So if you aren't subscribed, and give us a thumbs up if you like what you saw here today before you leave here on the video. And hit that bell notification on YouTube if you want to be if you want your phone to let you know whenever we go live with the new show. We do a bunch of different shows around here. And Monday we'll be what's that?
You said around here. That was just the way you said it. Around here, we do a bunch of new shows.
That's right. On the Late Night Chat Network, of course. And this following Monday, we're going to be doing. Thanks, man.
No problem. Joe's the man.
We've this upcoming Monday we'll be doing our weekly show, Late Night Chat. That's with me and Jay and guests sometimes. Lewis, who's been in the chat here today with us, will be on with us this next Monday. We'll be talking about the battle, talking about this show, how this went, and a bunch of other things. Always a good time on Mondays. Tune in live at 8 p.m. on Mondays.
And you can tune in if you want to know about the bag story.
There you go. Story about Lewis's bag and how he handles them. According to Jay. So our movie for next month, October, guys, we figured we'd pick like a classic scary movie of sorts. One that a lot of people like, one that's very interesting, the film itself, because of the director and all the stories that revolve around the film. So I'm really looking forward to talking about this movie just because there's a lot of interesting stories that go with this film as well. Again with the bang. How's it going, Lewis? Of course.
That's right, Lewis. You ready?
We're going to be watching The Shining next month, everybody. That's going to be our movie for October. So please tune in and follow us on Instagram or on Facebook, where we will post usually about a week or two in advance. We're going to be trying to post now to let you guys know when we do plan these shows, so you can go and rewatch these movies and join in on the conversation with us. We'll be posting the categories every single time to let you guys know if you want to do a little bit of homework and come and join in on the chat like we did here today and throw out your suggestions for these categories. And we try to give you guys enough time to watch it for the first time or revisit the film, and that should be a good one. I'm really looking forward to that. That's next month, October. We're going to be doing The Shining. So that is our movie for the next late night.
To pick apart, man.
Yeah,
we'll get a lot of unanswerable questions. We'll get a lot of that. Should be fun, man. Nitpicks. That should be interesting.
Yeah, there's even a documentary I was telling Jay on Netflix. I forgot what it's called. It's called Room something, whatever the room number is in the film of The Shining.
134 or something like that, or 11.
Yeah, there's a documentary where it's a bunch of fan theories of people that have watched the film trying to decipher some of the symbolisms and wild kind of theories that are behind the film. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. Should be a good one. So we hope that you guys will all tune back in for that one. And like I said, follow us on any of our social media. If you know us personally, we'll always kind of give you an update on that if you're interested in joining in on the conversation. That should be a good one for October. So I'm really looking forward to that. Jay, anything else you want to mention before we head out here? We got 2 more minutes here.
No, I just want to thank everybody for tuning in and into the chat today, and everybody that decided to. Yeah, 237. Sorry, I was saying one. Yeah. Sorry, Max, and your stats. You're gonna be the new Leslie.
No, Max is obviously has seen it. Yeah, he's seen. He mentioned actually one of the theories, so that should be interesting. I'm a fan of it. Jay, you'll have to watch that documentary as well. There's some wild fucking.
Oh, I didn't see that documentary, but I have to watch it. I know it had anything to do with it. My fault.
It's not all proved, but it's just fun fan theories, and some of it'll make you look at the film a little differently, right? So it's fun stuff. I'll
take a look at that before I rewatch the film.
That's right. 1408. I like that film too. That's a good one.
1408. Yeah.
Yeah, you've seen that. Yeah. I dig that one too.
Fuck.
I like that theory.
Joe's gonna have some fucking crazy movie ideas for me. Oh my god.
And also in the coming months, guys, we do have plans and do want to have some of you guys come on as guests to the show as well too. So we'll talk off the air. I know we've talked to a couple people already about it. We just kind of wanted to do a few of these review episodes first, me and Jay, just to kind of get the hang of things, so we don't sound like complete idiots when we're reviewing these things.
Yeah, this one was luckily I watched this movie like 7 times, but unfortunately I didn't get it. I thought I had a lot of stuff written down, but there's so much in this film that we could have used too. I mean, this one, I think with The Shining, I'm gonna have to take a lot more time in reviewing that one, because I know it and everything, but I want to make sure I got some good stuff there, because there is a lot, man, and it's a lot
Absolutely.
to take in, even if you rewatch it, right?
Yeah, the movie itself, I think, took almost a year to film. So, like, just think of that. So,
I figured it's only one fucking hotel.
yeah. All right. So, with that being said, though, we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure to tune into our upcoming shows. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that like, and thanks again, guys. Thanks for tuning in. This was